The 10-year anniversary of 9/11 brings with it the 10-year anniversary of the war in Afghanistan. With us this morning, Illinois Senator Mark Kirk.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Yep.
You just returned back from Afghanistan, a 2-week tour of duty. What did you see? What can you tell us, Senator?
Well, two big things, I tell you. First, we should be very proud of our men and women in uniform because the surge has worked and the Taliban has had a terrible military year. But the other thing that I learned was that there's a new threat. Al-Qaeda is a shadow of its former shadow in Afghanistan. But there's a new organization called the Haqqani Network. It's tying us down, it's killing Americans and Afghans, and it's heavily supported by the government of Pakistan. So I think we ought to rethink U.S. assistance to Pakistan, given what I've learned.
A lot of people have been pointing fingers at Pakistan, saying they haven't been particularly helpful in rooting out al-Qaeda members. Is this further proof to you that that is really part of the problem?
It is. I think Pakistan has helped us get, roughly a dozen top terrorists, but in return, they back this Haqqani network that's bogging down 100,000 Americans and killing thousands of people per month. And I think that's the wrong way to go.
The UN officials, there's a recent story in the Wall Street Journal talking about how the surge is not working. They believe that violence and civilian deaths are at record highs. We just saw 30 Americans die in the Chinook tragic helicopter crash. How do you respond to those claims that say stability is not being restored to this region?
I saw it quite obviously in Kandahar, the birthplace of the Taliban. Clearly, the Afghan and NATO forces were in charge. And so during a surge, you're going to have some additional fighting because you're retaking areas from the Taliban. And now I think the question is, how do we leave Afghanistan? The president announced 33,000 troops coming out. I support that decision. And the key metric to watch is the size of the Afghan police and army, now numbering over 300,000. And I think the final plan, ironically, will be laid out here in Chicago.
Wow. At
the May NATO summit of how we leave Afghanistan.
Senator Kirk, we want to get to the president's jobs speech. His jobs plan to be unveiled to the nation on Thursday. Among the lowest approval ratings he's seen, but Congress has not seen these kinds of ratings either. A lot of people disappointed. Is it the government's job to create jobs? Is it, or as we just heard Congressman Kinzinger say, is it more the environment you want to create?
Well, I think the stimulus is now seen as one of the colossal economic failures in U.S. history. We borrowed $1 trillion and it didn't work. So today at noon, I'm going to release to my email list 23 economic policies that will help this economy out, like stopping all new regulations that cost over $1 billion, like tax reform that would wipe out all expenditures, keeping your mortgage interest deduction and charitable, but lowering the top rate from 39 to 29, and 3 free trade agreements with Panama, Colombia, and South Korea. These proposals would receive widespread support of Democrats and Republicans. I hope it's the direction the president goes on Thursday.
Okay, your fellow Republican, really quickly, Congressman Joe Walsh, he's not going to be there. He doesn't want to be a pawn in this political system. He doesn't want to just sit there and be a prop. Is he wrong?
I think 90% of us, Republicans and Democrats, will be there because, at a minimum, you should respect the of the President of the United States. Joint sessions are in the Constitution, and you ought to hear what he has to say and try to work with him.
All right, Senator Kirk, thanks for stopping by here today. Good to see you. Mark, let's head over.